This lovely RX-7 right here is getting a brand new engine. In the previous two episodes, we've completely rebuilt this 13B engine right here. But before we can put this baby back into the car, we first need to take care of, well, many things. Because obviously we cannot just throw this freshly rebuilt 13B into the car and drive into the sunset, because there are still so many things that we need to take care of. And don't worry, I'm gonna walk you through everything, but first let's start with our first task, and that would be
replacing the old throwout bearing, the clutch slave and master cylinder, as well as the old rubber clutch line. As an upgrade, the clutch line is going to be replaced with a braided steel one, and it is vital that we replace all of these things right now.
Because once the engine is back in here, replacing all of these things will be a major pain in the butt, or straight up even impossible without dropping the entire transmission.
The purpose of a throwout bearing is to disengage the clutch whenever the driver presses on the clutch pedal. Over time, these bearings can get worn out, so whenever you are replacing your clutch, make sure to also change the throwout bearing for a new one. And now that the old one is out, let's slide the new one over the clutch fork. Lube up all of the contact points very well and put everything back where it belongs. Now it is time to replace the clutch slave and master cylinder. When you press the clutch pedal in your car, well, as long as it has a hydraulically actuated clutch, the pressure from your foot will make the master cylinder push fluid through the lines. Once this fluid reaches your slave cylinder, the fluid will push on the slave cylinder due to the pressure you are providing with your foot, and it will move the slave cylinder as a result, leading to the clutch disengaging. As most of the parts on a car, these things can also wear out, and once again, it is a good idea to change these parts while you're changing your clutch. Once the old slave cylinder is out, I can put the new one in, and once again, it is a good idea to put grease on all of the contact points. In this case, this would be the clutch fork where the slave cylinder presses against it. The new clutch line just screws in and is being secured by a clip. And now that all of the slave cylinder related stuff is out of the way, we can quickly change the master cylinder. This is bolted onto the firewall with studs that go through the firewall. Removing it simply involves loosening two nuts near the clutch pedal.
Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing, because there's much more content like this ahead. Okay guys, and that is basically it for the slave cylinder, the new braided steel clutch line, as well as the master cylinder. Everything's mounted up very nice and tight. I'm not gonna fill the reservoir yet because, well, obviously there is currently no engine in this engine bay and no clutch that will press against the throwout bearing, which makes me believe that bleeding this entire system is gonna be, well, not very possible. But anyways, with no further ado, we can take care of another very important thing, and that would be this piece of junk right here. This is the old radiator. As you can see, it's super nasty. It has all of this very brittle, disgusting plastic on it, and I think in general the cooling performance of the stock radiator is not the best. So I went ahead and bought myself a brand new full aluminum radiator, which is much beefier than the original one. We will just have to be careful once we're installing the engine to not bump into the radiator in the front, but I really want to see how that looks, so let's go. And if you've watched the first episode of this build series that I've ever posted, you probably remember this. Looks like a normal startup, doesn't it? But the keen-eyed viewers among you have probably noticed that when I started this thing up, the entire exhaust was basically leaking from everywhere. And well, it wouldn't be me if I didn't go for an upgrade, because obviously my stock exhaust is completely leaking. And believe it or not, but this is actually a huge problem for the main inspection. Because obviously once this freshly rebuilt 13V rotary engine is back in the RX-7, this thing is basically ready for its main inspection, and then we can finally get it road legal and finally drive it.
And with a little help from my dad, I could jack the car up from the front while he was holding the transmission, until I could support it from below, so it doesn't just hang by the transmission bracing.
Hey guys, I'm already very sorry for the bad lighting here, but let me try to show you how this thing is actually mounted. So as you can see, right here where the light is, it's like super weirdly mounted to the catalytic converter, which I think I have to replace because as you can see right here, it's super rusty. And in the back, this is also very weirdly connected to the exhaust pipe itself. It's just very weird in the back. It's the same. It's all just like extremely weird, but I'm gonna figure it out somehow. So let's go and install this thing. I mean, let's rip the old thing out first and then install the new thing. Alright guys, seriously, just have a look at how disgusting and completely gone this exhaust is. Well, that kind of explains why it was leaking so much. I would say let's get rid of that. On the muffler, there is literally, how big is that? Like almost like, yeah, like 2 centimeter, like 1 inch, 2.5 centimeter, big hole in the muffler. And right here, yeah, I think I don't have to add anything to that. And just, yeah, this just goes all the way, goes on all the way up. I didn't tell you yet, I'm actually gonna fly to South Korea once again. This time I've got something much cooler planned than last time. Last time was a little bit of a fail, the video that I posted in South Korea, because there was literally no cars, and yeah. I got a better plan for this time, so don't worry about that. Yeah, but until then, it's literally 1.5 weeks from now, and until then, I need to install the new exhaust, which I will be able to do. But like the other thing that I need to do is, yeah, this right here, because I really want to put the engine back in and start the RX-7 for the first time before I leave to Korea. And that is going to be a real challenge. Anyways, enough talking. Let's install the exhaust. I'm really curious to see how that will look. Now I'm just gonna wipe everything off, get everything clean, and then it's basically ready to install. I'm super excited to see how that will look because these tailpipes are just, well, insanely massive. Just for reference, this is my fist and I really have some big hands and it easily passes the fist test. Anyways, let's go install this thing. And guys, please take my humble advice when I tell you, never change an exhaust by yourself. It takes way too long, it's way too exhausting, and it's just a pain in the ass. Guys, check this out. The result is just insane. As I said, I can literally fit my entire fist in there. Obviously, there are still the silencers in there. I'm definitely gonna get rid of those. In the next video, we're gonna install the engine into the car and start it for the first time. So if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and hit a subscribe button to stay updated with the latest videos.